let's go above and beyond the headlines and speak with our Vice President, Leni Robredo. Thank you, Vice President Robredo, for joining us this evening.
Good evening, Pia. Good evening to everyone who's watching us tonight.
Vice President Robredo, let's begin with this, ma'am. President Duterte fired a PACC commissioner over the weekend because he wanted you investigating for supposedly competing with the administration when it comes to the fight against COVID. What did you think of the president's defending you on that point? But before you answer that, ma'am, I'd like us to listen first again to what the president said over the weekend.
Itong panahon na ito, na wala namang kasalanan yung Vice President, ano nga na magtulong, bakit ipa-imbestiga mo sa... Tsaka yung NBI mag-imbestiga niyan, pati kayo mag-isali ko kayo sa dismissal. Mga ignorante kayo.
So, Vice President Robredo, what did you think of that, ma'am?
Ako, Pia, it was a very important message. A message to everyone. This is a time for us to be united. Iset aside muna yung politika. Hindi ito panahon na nagkukwenta tayo. Hindi ito panahon for us to think that this is a competition. This is the time where not just government officials, but government and the private sector should all work together. Kasi yung pangangailangan talaga insurmountable. Yung pangangailangan hindi natatapos. Yung ginagawa nga natin, most of the things that we're giving away is really born out of the fundraising drive that we've instituted. And most of the donors are really private citizens. Dun sa na-raise namin, Pia, ng mga 46 million, ang government money lang doon was 5.9 and the rest was really private. So yung mensaheng yun ni Pangulo is very important. If only to emphasize na kailangan tayo magkaisa kasi napakalaking problema yung hinaharap natin lahat.
Ma'am, to emphasize bayanihan, which is
yes.
the name of the law.
Yes, precisely.
Bayanihan at hindi competition. Hindi tayo nakipagkompetensya sa isa't isa. In other words, the lesson here is that we all have roles to play in our own spheres of influence, which are supposed to complement what everybody else is doing.
Yes. Saka ito, Pia, kami kasi tinitingnan lang namin saan pa ba yung gaps. When we decided to do this fundraising for PPEs, we did this kasi marami yung sumisigaw na kailangan nila ng PPEs. And kami, alam namin na government can only do so much and the private sector is only too willing to help. So yun talaga yung ginalvanize namin. Halimbawa yung project namin na shuttle bus. Nung nagkaroon tayo ng enhanced community quarantine, yung reklamo ng mga frontliners, either hindi sila nakapasok o naglakad sila ng napakatagal para lang makapasok. So it was a need that was very apparent and we stepped in. Pagdating naman sa mga dormitories, marami yung being discriminated upon now. Marami yung ayaw umuwi sa pamilya nila after duty kasi baka sila pa yung maging instrument ng contamination. So nag-provide kami ng dorms. So kami naman, Pia, hindi ito competition. We step in every time we see a need. So tingin ko dapat hindi namin to tinitingnan na ako yung mas mabilis, ako yung mas marami. Dapat wherever government needs, yung private sector should step in.
You were filling the need, in other words. Ma'am, I have a few questions about the PPEs, the shuttles, and the dormitories. Yung PPEs, for example, meron po kayong, about 2 weeks ago, meron po kayong in-upload na pattern halimbawa, no, para pwedeng, ano po nangyari doon? And so far, how many PPEs have you been able to provide, and where have these gone?
Ngayon, Pia, out of the donations given to us, kasi yung na-raise namin as of 6 o'clock yesterday, 46,850,734 pesos. This translates to 106,000 plus na PPEs. Ang na-deliver na namin as of this time is 87,000, ay hindi pala 87, 43,575. And we are yet to deliver 87,570. So malaki pa talaga yung, nandyan pa yung pera, malaki pa yung, marami pa yung i-deliver. Pero nakaantala talaga sa amin, Pia, kasi yung first 2 weeks namin, we were dependent on yung medical supplies that were being imported. And ito, we are competing with many other countries abroad. Paunti-unti talaga yung pagdating. So during the second week, we already thought of bakit hindi na lang tayo gumawa ng locally produced? And that was when we made the call.
Gumawa.
And when we made the call, talagang napakaraming nag-volunteer to help. And this group na led by Mitch Dulce, sila yung pinakauna who responded to our call. They made a pattern, pero decided to upload it sa open source para yung lahat na gustong tumulong can access it already. So ngayon, ang maganda ngayon, Pia, kasi kahit yung mga nasa probinsya, in Bicol for example, gumagawa na sila ng sarili. Yung iba, pinadala namin ng tela kasi walang nakukuha. Yung iba, sila yung nagsusource ng sarili nilang pera. So ngayon, mas mapapabilis yung production rather than dun sa traditional na naghihintay lang tayo sa dumadating. So ngayon, hopefully, in the coming week, after the Holy Week, mas mabilis na. Kasi the first sets of locally manufactured PPEs were already given to us. And some of the sewers, ito kasi combination ng...
Yung sinabi po... Sorry ma'am, yung sinabi po ninyong yet to deliver yung 87,000, hindi pa po ito gagawin pa rin, parang gano'n. In other words, these are, you're feeling the need, merong humihingi.
Yes. Ito, ang na-deliver na namin is 43,575. Yung 87,570 to be delivered, ang iba gawa na, ang iba hindi pa. And most of them, ginagawa pa lang ngayon kasi nag-shift na nga tayo dun sa locally manufactured.
Oo. Okay, and of course, FDA approved. So now, ma'am, yung tungkol naman sa shuttles and dormitories, it's good that you mentioned that, no? So, that means, of course, these health workers don't go home, like you said, masyadong malayo halimbawa ang bahay, or ayaw nilang umuwi because they want to protect their own families.
Yes, yes.
Do you have a rough estimate of how many health workers you've been able to house in these dormitories? And itong mga shuttle na ito, how many vehicles are these, and they're still plying these routes? Can you tell us more about that?
Ito, sa shuttle muna, Pia. Yung shuttle, we have 8 routes now. May isa kaming, tig-iisang bus lang yon kasi ito is just a partnership with the private sector. Meron lang isang rota na 2 yung bus namin. So we have 9 buses in all. Pero ito, ang nagmaman nito, Pia, yung mga dispatchers, mga conductors, yung lahat na nag-aasikaso, mga naglilinis, lahat volunteers. Yung contribution nito nung private sector na partner namin is yung buses, yung drivers. Meron din kaming partner na para sa gasolina. And yung usapan namin was until April 14. Kasi yung April 14 is supposed to be the end of the enhanced community quarantine. Ito, ang kwenta namin, Pia, of the 9 buses that we have, mga nag-average kami ng mga 400 to 450 passengers a day. Ito, ang nakita kasi namin, Pia, kaya siya naging very efficient saka very effective because time-bound kami. Yung routes pinapublish namin online, nakalagay yung lahat na stops, and yung lahat na stops merong oras kung kailan siya dadating. So it has become very convenient dun sa mga pasaherong sumasakay kasi naaabangan nila yung bus. Now that we're ending on the 14th of April, yung pakiusap namin sa DOTR, we have been coordinating with them already just in case ma-extend yung enhanced community quarantine. Baka pwede nilang saluhin kasi they have more than 100 buses. And pinadala namin sa kanila yung lahat na routes, pinadala namin yung lahat na protocols, and very, very, very welcoming yung DOTR. So hopefully, kahit ma-extend ito, mapoprovide pa din yung services that we have been providing.
Okay. Well, ma'am, first of all, it's good you mentioned the possible extension of the ECQ. And pangalawa, I just wanted to say that we do appreciate hearing the figures. It's very good kasi na naririnig po namin ng taong bayan, ng viewers, no, kung magkano po, tapos ilan na di-deliver, halimbawa na PPE, ilan pa yung for delivery. But also, I wanted to ask you, since nabanggit po ninyo yung possible extension, do you believe that this ECQ should be extended? Or partially
If we look,
lifted,
yes.
or lifted completely?
Ito kasi, Pia, if you look at the studies, there have been many studies already conducted. One of them, yung Ayala sponsored na study, pinapakita na if we lift the enhanced community quarantine now, yung chance na magpipik pa tayo sa May, napakalakas. Yung pinapakita niya that if we extend the ECQ, chances are we have a greater opportunity to flatten the curve. So yung sa akin, kung ito yung studies ng experts, baka mas makabuti sa atin na ma-extend pa. Pero para kasi ma-extend siya, ang daming sakripisyo sa ekonomiya. So yung sa atin, Pia, merong mga importanteng kailangang masagutan during the extension, if it will be extended. Yung number one, maintindihan ng tao. People should understand why there is a need to extend. Kasi if people don't understand why we are extending, baka magkaroon ng resistance. Yung number two naman, kailangan yung tulong sa mga mahihirap, maibigay na. Para yung sakripisyo hindi ganun kagrabe for everyone.
I wish we had much more time, ma'am, but we have run out of time. But like you said, you think it is important to extend. Just one brief question, ma'am, and one brief answer. If you think it is important that we extend this ECQ, by how long? Until when?
It is difficult to say. Pero yung mga studies kasi, Pia, there are several permutations. Merong extend for another 15 days, merong extend for another 30 days. Pag tiningnan natin yung mga permutations, better yung results kung i-extend for another 30 days. But of course, it's not a cut and dried parang model. Pwede kasing may mga variations na would not be too much on our economy.
Okay. Vice President Leni Robredo, maraming salamat, ma'am. Thank you for allowing to take so much of your time. Salamat po, ma'am.